Hi everyone. Hello from the MJCast. I am Q, and we also have on the line Jamon and also Brad Sundberg. Hi Jamon, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Pretty excited to finally reveal our faces to the audience. So,
Yes, yes, some
How you go?
people don't know whose voice goes to whose name, so this should solve the mystery. We really are two separate people. All right, and Brad, g'day. Hello from Australia to you in the US.
Greetings, guys. How are you? It's an honor and thrill to be here.
It is to be speaking with you again also. So we're filming this little thing today, which I don't even know where to look. Do I look at the camera? Do I look at the pictures? We've never done this before.
camera.
If my
Straight down the
eyes
lens.
go all over the place, I'll try and remember to look at the camera. So we're here today to say hello to Brad and to share some details of the exciting upcoming seminars that Brad are bringing to Australia. So Brad is coming to Australia in January 2017, and he's going to be bringing the In the Studio with MJ seminars to us in 3 cities across this wide brown land. So the dates are Melbourne.
Is that how you describe it?
Yeah, that's about pretty accurate, isn't it, Jamon?
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can sell it a little bit stronger than that, but it's all good.
No, that's the romantic description of Australia.
You gotta love the outback. Come on.
I love it.
Yeah. There's not much in the middle, so
Right.
So Brad will be starting in Melbourne and then traveling to Perth and then across back to the East Coast in Sydney. So I'll give you the dates and then we're going to have a chat with Brad. So Melbourne dates, January 7 and 8, Perth, January 10 and 11, and Sydney, January 14 and 15. Brad,
And you want to know
we
something
can't wait
crazy?
to have you.
We're actually driving between each one of those cities.
Oh, wow.
Do I have enough time? I'm kidding.
No.
I'm kidding.
No.
I was gonna say you're gonna be able to go along
Why
the Great,
have you
the
got
Great
enough
Ocean
time?
Road.
It's about a 4-day drive from
Come
the
on.
East Coast to the West Coast.
Well, I suppose that's true because I believe, Melbourne to Perth is very similar, New York to LA.
Yes.
So, yeah, and that would you could do it in 3 days, but you'd be driving hard.
That would be a rush.
Yeah. So,
Take a plane. You never know. I actually know I won't see you on the plane because
I think
I'm taking that week
I'll-
holidays.
nice. No, we
Brad,
really
tell us,
are.
Tell us what to expect.
Well, we're really excited. I mean, do you guys, I think I've told you, but the Australian, I never call them fans because they're not my fans. They're Michael Jackson fans. The Australian MJ fans have been very patient, persistent, incredibly kind in, begging is such a strong word, but really encouraging us to come. And I am so excited. Now, I've told this story before, but I mean, do you know kind of the backstory about me coming to Australia? I'll tell it briefly.
You were this close.
I was this close. Michael was on tour, on the Bad tour in Japan, and Bruce Woody and I were in the studio in LA, and we got the call from, I think it was from Evie, somebody in Michael's office, asked us to, get our passports, get ready. We're going to go to Australia and we're going to record. And I know I was talking to studios in Perth and Adelaide. And did he actually perform the Bad tour in Adelaide? He didn't.
I don't think he did in Perth either.
Right, but I thought he wound up. He was scheduled for Perth. I mean, I've heard some interesting backstory as I've been learning. But long story short, we were supposed to go to Australia and we were supposed to record several of the shows, for a double album. And at the last minute, and I mean it was about a week before we were supposed to go. We're kind of like, where's our ticket? I've been talking to studios. I had things lined up, but in the very end, as embarrassing as this is, nobody would pay for Bruce and I to go. And we just, the the trip went to waste. And I had my little passport, and back then you had to get a visa. I hope I don't need a visa for this trip because I haven't gotten one.
Just check that out before you get here.
I might make a call. But back then, I mean, it was kind of a big deal. You needed a visa for a lot of international travel, and that's lightened up a lot since then. But yeah, we didn't get to go. So it's as strange as it sounds. It really is kind of the fulfillment of. I have been wanting to go to Australia since 1987, when I basically had the ticket in my hand, and so we're finally doing it. Just 30. I can't believe it's been 30 years, but 30 years later. Good grief.
Good grief! Where is the time
and I'm only 37. So
that's amazing.
I know.
Gosh, you started young. So your seminars are going to be spread across 2 days, and each day is quite different.
Right.
So what can people expect for day one? What can people expect for day two?
It's funny. I don't have the info right in front of me, but. I believe on day one in each city we're doing something called the extended remix, and I could have that wrong, but one day we're doing the extended remix in each city.
Day two.
That's day two. Okay, day one is the seminar. Okay, yeah, and yes, and we do that for a reason. We do the In the Studio with MJ seminar on Saturdays because that's if people are only going to go to one. That's kind of the one I would steer them towards. That's the full 7 hour. It's something that we worked really hard on. And I'm going to take people on a journey, starting with Captain EO, into bad, into dangerous, and into history. And I'm coming up on about the 94th event, something like that. I think when we're in Australia, it'll be like 94, 95, 96, 97. It'll bring us right up close to 100. And every time I do it, it flies by so fast. It's like as soon as it starts, I kind of glance at my watch, and it feels like minutes, and 7 hours have gone by. So the main seminar, that's when we really dig into those three albums in particular. They're such iconic records, and I was there for all of them. And we just kind of watch Michael grow as an artist, and using different producers and different ideas and different techniques. So it's a mix of stories and music. There's enough technical in there for my engineer and my techie people, but it's not a how we record, with tape and compressors and equalizers and all that. It's kind of a fun ride. Then for the remix, that's something that we started doing. I guess it was kind of at MJU is kind of where the remix started, and I have to be careful because I don't want to give too much away. But we give people that attend a chance to actually kind of get their fingers on some of the individual tracks, and in a sense, build some mixes, solo some tracks, have a little bit of fun, hearing things that they probably haven't heard before. And along with that, and I'm being dead serious. This is something that we're putting together just for Australia. The remix used to be about 3 to 4 hours, something like that. I'd usually do it like on a Friday night, and it would kind of get me prepped for Saturday. But because you guys are so bloody far away, I want to give people, I can't come to Australia every other weekend as much as I wish I could. So I want to give people kind of the full immersion. I want to give them a second 7-hour day where they're going to be remixing things. They're going to be hearing tracks that we'll just say are maybe a bit more rare. And we're going to be kind of digging into, there's so much stuff that I would like to have in the seminar, but I can't keep people there for 11 hours. That's kind of silly. So there's some things that we've either taken out of the seminar or some ideas that we're playing with, and those are going to be in the remix. So we've got some video from MJU that we're going to be sharing. I can't bring all the special guests I had at MJU with me to Australia, but what a concept. I have video. So we're going to kind of show some video in context of, it's not going to be sitting watching Uncle Bob's, video show for 7 hours, but I think it's going to be things that people are going to find interesting, and we're going to mix it up and let them mix a little bit, let them hear some things they're not familiar with, and have kind of a fun day.
I want to ask a little bit about the remix event. I know you said you want to keep some of that secret, and that's absolutely fine. But I got to say, I've been on Facebook looking at some amazing photos that have come out from your previous shows. I think you did some in Mexico recently, and you met Ali and Jason, the hosts of the MJCast in Espanol. Great guys.
Yeah, they were very sweet.
And they had a great time there as well. And I saw some awesome photos, particularly of Jason. He was actually getting in there using hardware. I think he was, I don't know what he was. You were standing over his shoulder, and he was doing something on a mixing desk. Can you give us just at least a little tidbit of things that go on with using equipment there?
Well, let me, if there's anything I'm guilty of, it's being, truthful and boringly honest. Those photos, we were in a studio. It's true. In that particular situation, that studio that we were in, we used for photos and just to kind of show people what a studio is. The event actually took place in the recording room, which is a bunch of chairs set up. So that's a little more where they got to have their hands on my computer and manipulate some tracks and do a few things. In LA at MJU, we actually had a mixer that they could use. So in Sydney, we don't have all those details worked out yet. I'm sorry, in all the cities in Australia. But yeah, we did have fun in that studio. That was a legit place in Mexico City. That was the word world class is kind of overused, but that was a really beautiful world class studio, and it was a cool little find that Ali helped us with.
That's fantastic. Well, we certainly can't wait to have you down under in Australia. There's so many fans that are excited to finally meet you and get to talk to you. One question I had was during the actual event, when you're presenting in the main Saturday event, is there an opportunity for Q&A style sessions where people can actually ask you questions as well?
Oh yeah. It's whenever I start one of my seminars, I always say, this is not university, this is not church. Scoot your chair around, get comfortable. I'm not a singer, I'm not a dancer, I'm not a celebrity. I'm here to, make people, take them to a place they probably haven't been before. But no, I like to think the entire event is very, very approachable. Every now and then I'll get somebody that gets up to like question number 99, and then I'll start teasing them a little bit and say, we got to stay on track. We got a lot of ground to cover.
That would be me.
But we try and find that balance of, if you've got questions. And the other thing, I always tell people I was not Michael's best friend. I don't have deep secrets that he shared with me. But we were just good friends, and we trusted each other a lot. I'm kind of an open book, so if I don't know something, I'll just say I don't know. Yeah. And there's probably 15 people in the room that do. So when it comes to sequence of single releases and what color socks he was wearing at the concert in Osaka, I don't have a clue. But there's plenty of people that seem to feed on that kind of information.
What I might do now, Brad, is just share some of your details and your website where people can go to get tickets. So on Twitter, you're at In Studio with MJ. Mm-hmm. Over at Facebook, it's facebook.com/In the Studio with MJ. And your website is inthestudiowithmj.com. And that's where people can go directly to read about the seminars and the upcoming events. And also the links are there to go and purchase tickets, which I think from what you've described, 2-day event, like 7 hours each, that is going to be massive. And so worth it. And I've never heard from anyone that's been to any of your 90 odd seminars that it has not been worth it. So I'm very excited, and I will be seeing you in Perth.
You know, it's humbling, and I really mean that. I have I think we're on guest book number 3 now, and part of it doesn't make sense. I mean, it's really an amazing journey that we're on, but what you're saying is true, and we work really hard to deliver an event, an experience that I think is unlike anything else, and I'm pretty proud to say that we've got just overwhelming response. That people say it's not a cheap event to put on. The ticket, I wish we could have the ticket prices be a bit lower, but it's something that we've worked really hard to make very special, and the venues that we choose are hand selected, and I think it's something that is very memorable for our guests. So thank you. That's very kind.
And I think as well, one of the really exciting things about seeing you, Brad, I mean, there are a lot of other people doing seminars around the place, but the thing is with you, you're a very unique collaborator of Michael Jackson in that not only did you work with him in the studio, but you also worked at Neverland Ranch as well. And that reality of you being in both worlds, working on his, sound systems at his beautiful home and in the studio with him is just incredible. And it's amazing that you're sharing your stories with the fan community. So thank you.
Well, and Neverland we used to do Neverland as a separate segment. Sometimes we would do it kind of as a VIP segment, and I think a couple of times we tried it as an evening segment, but it really started to grow to a point where I wanted it in the main seminar. And it really is, I think, it might be my favorite segment. And again, it's not, when we first did it, it's kind of fun doing this because the seminar evolves over time. And I think the first one I did, I think was either in Toronto or Seattle. I can't remember. And it was way too many photos. And it was just photo. And it was too much. And I'm just being honest with you. If you're into Neverland, you've probably seen most of the photos I'm going to show you. I have a few that are kind of unique to me, but what we've done is we've put it into a tour. And we actually start people at the front gate,
wow.
And we take them all through Neverland. So even though you've seen a lot of the photos, I've put it into context to where I'm going to do the best job I can of taking you through the ranch. And that's when their eyes are really opened as to just how big and how incredible that place was. Because just you can look at 600 photos, but they're not in context. So we've cut that way, way down to where I'm really telling a lot of the backstory of what's in each photo. And so it's a segment I'm really proud of. And you touched on something that I talk about this in my seminar a bit, about working with Michael in the studio as well as kind of in his personal life. And we did a lot of work on the short films and videos and things like that, but also at Neverland. And Michael was very compartmentalized, meaning he had a group of people that would work in the studio. He had a group of people that might work on the short films. He had a group of people that, helped in different areas of his life, and rarely did one cross from one box into another. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's a true statement. I was one of the few people that actually, was kind of in different parts of his life. Because he was funny, man. He liked to have this group here, and that's where they were. And there weren't many that, migrated around from one of those boxes to another. So yeah, I'm really proud of the work we did at Neverland. And I don't want to give too much away, but that's a really special segment to me once we, dig into that, because it was an amazing place.
Sold. Seriously, if that hasn't sold you, Aussies and New Zealanders, really.
You're very. So do you really say down under, or are you guys just doing that for me?
We don't really say it much.
We don't.
Usually, we only say it if we're talking to foreigners. We'll say, come down under or whatever. But there's a lot of Australianisms that are said around the world that we don't say. For example, shrimp on the barbie. We don't say shrimp at all. We say prawns.
Well, you can blame Crocodile Dundee, which did just an enormous amount of tourism for you guys and built stereotypes that people my age have a really hard time getting beyond.
That's all right. We embrace it when we can. But just so you know, no one drinks Foster's in Australia. So don't go to a pub and order a Foster's.
Not here either. So
good. All right. So was there anything else we needed to announce today?
Well, there's something that we've been working on behind the scenes, and this is something that even before we started recording, the three of us talked about briefly. We're going to do something for my Australian friends, and this this really is from the heart. I want to do kind of a Christmas gift. We're going to do. We've done this one or two times in the past. Something called a BOGO, which is buy one get one free, and what that amounts to is. And I want to be clear for my people that have already bought tickets. Just hold tight. Don't jump to conclusions. If you've been waiting to buy a ticket for In the Studio with MJ, the price isn't going to change. But if you buy one ticket, you can bring a friend absolutely for free. So one ticket is going to admit two people. If you have already purchased a ticket, we're not going to do refunds. Don't get mad at me, but. You also can bring a friend. So if you've already bought a ticket and somebody wants to come with you, you want to bring a wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, MJ fan, whatever, this is the way to do it. So we're going to introduce the BOGO for the next, I guess, 2 weeks, because good grief, we're going to be there, and it's coming right up, January 7th. So it'll be available starting just before Christmas. So it's really not going to change. If you already have your ticket, you're just going to bring a friend. If you have not purchased a ticket, you're going to buy it just like you already are, but your ticket will allow two people to come. So you guys can figure out how you want to split the price and all that. But we really do want to make this as accessible for as many people as possible. And it's my small way of saying thank you to Australia for your patience. And we are so excited to be coming. And I want to have as many people there as possible. It's a really, really special, fun weekend. In Perth, it'll be midweek. I couldn't take 3 weeks off work. It isn't possible. But Perth has been very understanding, and we're going to go ahead and do, is it a Tuesday, Wednesday? I should know, but it's January 10th and 11th. So my understanding is a lot of Australians are on vacation during that time anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but that's sort of why we're doing it the way that we're doing it. It's going to be a lot of bouncing back and forth across your beautiful brown country, as you call it. But the BOGO thing is something that we're really excited about, and I hope we can get a lot of people to participate in it.
That is a huge announcement, and just in time for Christmas. Merry Christmas, Aussies and Kiwis. That's incredible.
Merry Christmas. Now, how frequent? How many, you call them Kiwis? How many New Zealanders? I mean, is it kind of common to hop back and forth? And,
absolutely, yeah.
I don't mean to ask stupid questions, but
no, yeah.
I would love. I would love to have some New Zealanders join us. I wish we could have. Made a stop in New Zealand. My daughter in particular really wishes we could have made a stop in New Zealand.
Still could.
But I know. We'll put that on the itinerary for next time. But for now...
Jamon, you're visiting New Zealand soon your holidays.
That's why I said you could come, because I'm a school teacher, as you know, and I get roughly 4 to 5 weeks off over Christmas a year. So we're using that time. In a way, it's a little unfortunate, but we're actually going over to New Zealand for a few weeks. Unfortunately, when you're coming, I'm a bit bummed that I don't get to see you. So
I'm sorry.
No. Don't apologize, please. You chose a good time to come because, like you said, most Australians are actually on vacation during that time. So it's good for most people. But yeah, to
Do you call it vacation or holiday?
We say holiday.
Holiday.
Yeah, holiday. So
Okay,
like
sorry.
the
So
Madonna
it's more the British. Right.
But to answer your question, yes, it
Great.
is incredibly
Well-
common for New Zealanders to come here and for Australians to go to New Zealand. You don't even need a visa or anything to go to New Zealand, and yeah, it's all pretty awesome.
Now you've got me worried about my visa. I'm gonna
You got to check that out.
I'm gonna have to check with the passport board this weekend or on Monday and make sure that we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
I
don't
think so.
don't
You'll be
worry.
right.
You'll be fine. Yeah.
One little question we did have is coming up to Christmas time. Of course, you know, speaking to you, we can't let this opportunity pass without asking you for a Michael Jackson story of some kind. Do you have any MJ Christmas stories up your sleeve?
There is one, and people that have been to my seminar have heard this before. But during the History album, we did History in New York in 1994. We did Bad and Dangerous were both in LA, and we started History in New York. And there's kind of a whole story behind why we moved cross country for that one album. But in the middle of, I think it was August or September. Have either of you been to New York?
Never.
Yes.
I've never been to America.
Love it.
Okay. My daughter, my oldest daughter, just moved to New York about 5 months ago. So I think she's having one of her first snowstorms either tonight or this weekend. I love New York. We've spent a lot of time there. But it was in August. In August, September in New York can just be brutally hot. And it stinks, and it's hot, and it can be a muggy, miserable place. And Michael got this crazy idea. He wanted to do a Christmas song. And it was a whole progression of events that went about. But basically, we hired a kids choir. He wanted to do a Christmas song from the movie Home Alone. And I don't know why. We basically re-recorded this song. We re-recorded the track. And then we brought all these kids in, kids choir. But before they came, Michael was very insistent that the place feel like Christmas. So there's a lot of components to the story that I'm going to hold off on. But the gist of it is that we actually hired a New York set designer, to come in and decorate the entire studio for Christmas. And if you dig into I think it's on my Facebook page, and there might be a couple pictures on my website where you can kind of see the studio. And there have been pictures that have been released. It's not a tremendous secret, but we had a sleigh, and we had fake snow, and the kids had snowball fights, and we had this enormous studio on the top of Hit Factory, about the size of a basketball court, for real. It was a massive studio, and we just turned the whole place into this winter wonderland, so that Michael wanted the kids to feel like Christmas, and that's how we recorded the song. The song was never released. Michael did not sing a lead vocal on it, to the best of my knowledge. But it was a really, really fun event that he wanted. He just felt, if we're going to do it, let's go big. And so we had all the kids there. The kids got gifts. We had elves. We had people in costume, and it was really, really a crazy fun day.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Thank you.
In fact, it was the course of, I think just to decorate the studio was about 3 days just for that.
Far out.
So yeah, nothing in Michael world was small.
Yeah.
Everything was huge. There was no sense, especially on the History album, there was very little sense of what word am I looking for? Minimalism. Everything was just huge, and so we were kind of hitting our stride by the time we did this Christmas song. So that's something we'll share in a little more detail in the seminar, and I've got some little video clips that I'll show people. But
wow.
But it was a really crazy fun day.
Wow.
So, and Michael was, I don't want to get into religion or anything, but Michael, of course, was raised Jehovah's Witness. so they don't celebrate, Christmas or major holidays. And this was something that he loved Christmas, and he was just incredibly curious about. So he would ask us about our Christmases and our kids and what it was like to grow up in a house with a Christmas tree and how you didn't open the gifts early. And he would always ask and ask and ask all these questions. So this is, the Christmas song is sort of my just a really sweet memory I have of him on these hot summer days in New York, juxtapositioned, with this not weird, but this winter wonderland that we built for him in Studio One at Hit Factory. So, well, really crazy memories.
That's Christmas in Australia to a T, because quite often it'll be, I guess, in your degrees, like 100 right? degrees, blazing hot. Christmas is often down at the beach, maybe a barbecue with seafood, and yet we still decorate things like it is winter with the sort of bunting, the holly, the berries, the Christmas trees, fake snow maybe sometimes, and the Christmas lights. So we live that awesome. Juxtaposition.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing that really story.
Excited. Of course.
Yeah. You're actually coming at pretty much the hottest time of the year in Australia. So make sure you bring your, what do you guys call them? Flip-flops? We call them thongs. But I know that's got a different meaning in America. So,
it's funny. Where I grew up in Santa Cruz, California, on the beach, and they call them thongs. But now they're in Florida, and they're flip-flops.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. But I'll bring the flippy floppies and the swimsuit, and
awesome.
we'll experience. But the sharks, you guys terrify me with those sharks.
They terrify me. Oh my God, there's great whites. Just don't watch Jaws before you come, all right?
No.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So once again, I wanted to share where Aussies and New Zealanders and anyone else that is interested in going to the January seminars. The website is in the studio with MJ.com. Head there for the tickets. Take advantage of this incredible BOGO offer. Buy one, get one free. Bring a friend. That's incredible. Head over to Facebook, facebook.com/in the studio with MJ. And Brad is on Twitter. In studio with MJ is the handle there. And we're very excited to look forward to welcome you to Australia and hearing these incredible stories over 2 days. If you're able to attend the 2 days, I think it's going to be so worth it. While we're on the line, tune into our own Christmas special, which is episode 48. We just dropped the Christmas special, our end-of-year wrap-up. And that's really great to finish up the MJCast for Season 2 before we come back next year. And all of our details, you can find us over at themjcast.com. We're on Twitter as the MJCast, also Facebook and Instagram as the MJCast. Instagram, I think I mentioned, YouTube and Tumblr. Just search for us at the MJCast. And our website, Jamon, is
themjcast.com.
That's right. And we'll have links. We are everywhere. Keeps us busy. And we will have links on our website over to Brad and all of his details as well. And as I'm guessing this is going to be on YouTube, so check in the comments in the description, and we'll also have the links there. So you cannot escape the links in the studio with MJ, with Brad Sundberg.
That's awesome. Now let me ask you guys something really quick. What's your favorite MJ album? You can only pick one.
Come on.
3,
that is
2, 1.
Go Q, you go first.
This month, I'm going to say Dangerous because I'm still in the Dangerous vibe after celebrating Dangerous 25.
Okay.
For me,
Jamon?
It's Off the Wall. I love...
Really?
Yeah, 100%. I know it's not... Most MJ fans you talk to will probably say Dangerous or History. For me, it's Off the Wall. I love those late 70s grooves. I love the funk grooves, that disco, vibe.
Jamon, you're going to want to be at my seminar. I am so sorry.
Oh no.
You're going to want to be there.
I want to be there, of
duck
course.
out.
Yeah.
Hey,
duck out of the
wifey,
Kiwis
I'm just
trip.
ducking out to go see something in New Zealand. I'll be back ASAP. Get on a plane.
I wish. I wish.
Well, I respect and actually agree with Q. Dangerous is my my personal favorite also, but I do love Off the Wall too. But my fingerprints are on Dangerous, so I'm gonna have to give that one the vote.
Definitely.
And it ties into the whole Neverland era, so that for me is in the forefront at the moment as well, celebrating Dangerous 25. Yeah.
So
wonderful. Have we forgotten to mention anything? Is there anything else we need to mention before we wrap this up and wish everyone a wonderful holiday season?
I don't think so. I mean, I can't say it enough. I have gotten the sweetest letters, notes. I think I used the word koala bear in one of my posts, and I kind of got my hand slapped.
They're not bears.
I learned that very, very distinctly. Somebody sent me a little koala, a stuffed one, to be clear, and so we. It's the weirdest thing because I'm not a celebrity. I work for a living. I build stuff. I build really cool music systems and video systems. And to have people want us to come to their country and visit and tell stories, it's humbling. And I'm very, very excited and grateful. And we are going to deliver the best product that we possibly can. So I thank both of you. I thank the Australian MJ fans and the Kiwis. I don't want to overlook them. And can't wait to meet a whole bunch of new people. Every one of these, it starts out with a room of strangers. And let me just say this. I swear this is true. I can always see people, they kind of come into my seminar and they're kind of nervous and they kind of sit in the back. And I'm telling you, after 1 hour, it becomes a family. And you are going to make friends there. I swear this is true. You're going to make friends there that are going to be friends for life. So it's this, I don't like the word weird, but it's this cool thing that happens in a room full of people that are passionate about great music. And get over your concerns. Even if you're going to go by yourself, I promise you, you're going to leave with a room full of friends. So I look forward to seeing you, and I thank you guys for having me on your podcast, and congratulations on a great year.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. There's one more Facebook group that I want to share because I know that you go to this group often and you do share updates in there. So if you're interested and if you're in Australia, New Zealand, there's a group on Facebook. It's called Bring in the Studio with Michael Jackson to Australia. It's a public Facebook group. And that's what got this happening. But I do know that Brad puts updates in there quite a lot. And from there, if you ask around in your local city to other people on the page, you'll find that there's actually pages set up for like Perth and Melbourne and I imagine Sydney as well. So there's all these little Facebook groups that you can help organize things with your other MJ mates that you're going to make at these awesome seminars. And just again, the dates for the seminars are Melbourne, January 7 and 8. Perth, January 10 and 11, and Sydney, January 14 and 15. Australia has brought in the studio to MJ, and we just can't wait. Thank you so much for your time, Brad. We wish you a wonderful Christmas and New Year.
Thank you both. There's sort of a saying that we have on our Facebook page. You will hear things you've never heard, see things you've never seen, and learn things you never knew. And that's true. You're going to be in for an experience, and it's an honor for you to give up a day or a weekend and spend with us. So we're going to give as much back to you as we possibly can. I wish both of you guys a fantastic Christmas with your family and friends, and I cannot wait to visit your beautiful brown country, as you call it, in just a few weeks. We're very excited, and I thank you for having me on your show.
Thanks, Brad. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.